Are we on?
We're on. Go.
Neutral
The
Zone,
channel.
Neutral Zone Infraction / that Mediocre Sports Show, starring Randy.
No, and him, Sean.
Thanks, and him. Sean.
Yeah, the other guy. Well, that's how Mike used to introduce me on Offsides. He used to go, it's me, Mike, and this is Rolf and Randy. It's like, well, thanks, Mike. Thanks for the introduction, buddy.
So today's show is... stretch out my Misfits shirt. It was bulging on my belly. Yeah, you know what?
Well, okay.
So
we're
thinking... It was
thinking...
your idea.
We're thinking that some of these seasons in the pro sports are a little bit too long.
Way too long.
Way too long. And we might have too many teams. We keep expanding. Now, he doesn't think so, and he's wrong. But we might have too many teams because there are a lot of these teams in some of these sports. They will never win championships. Ever, because nobody wants to play for those teams. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a prime example. They have a really good, they call him the Greek Freak, but I think his last name is Atetakempo.
How did you just stutter?
A little bit. But
say that again.
Atetakempo.
God, that's freaking amazing.
That's if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I've heard.
How do you do that?
But you look at when he becomes a free agent. When he becomes a free agent, he's a star right now. He's like a 7-footer. He can shoot. He can defend. He can bring the ball up the court as a 7-footer. But is Milwaukee going to be able to keep this guy?
No.
When he becomes a free agent, or is he going to go to LA, or is he going to go wherever the big team, the big other players are at the time? You know, because they're all clumping. Golden State's got a clump of them. Oklahoma City has a clump of them. Cleveland, well, they have LeBron James and a little clump.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking to myself, if this ever did get watched by anybody, that dude just called me a clump, man. What the hell's a clump?
Could you imagine like Rodney Hood is going, I'm not a little clump.
Right.
Yes, you are.
I can see.
Yes, you're a little clump.
I can just see LeBron James going, you know what? He just called you guys clumps.
It's like that guy called you guys clumps.
What's
LeBron and the clumps.
And the clumps. Got a clump here and a clump. Anyway,
Well,
go ahead with your clump.
It's like, but
The hell?
But see, teams like that, it's like, first of all, Milwaukee's never going to win a title with him.
They won with Kareem.
In the 70s.
Okay.
Think about that. That's the last time the Milwaukee Bucks won a championship. It was in the 70s when there wasn't free agency. So they had to keep,
So
Kareem
you're saying-
Abdul-Jabbar stayed there as Lou Alcindor.
So are you saying that the Milwaukee Bucks, even though they are supporting their team, should lose their team?
Yes. Because they're never going to win a title. Now, we don't know the attendance figures. I'm not positive. When the Milwaukee Bucks are bad, are they still supporting the team? That is the sign of true support.
Well,
When your team is good and it's winning some games and you support them, everybody supports a winning team usually. But when your team is bad, do you still support them?
I would have to say that, yeah, because they've been there that long.
But are the Milwaukee Bucks fans fine with never winning a title? Because I'll tell you this right now. I will pretty much guarantee that in the next 20 years, the Milwaukee Bucks will not win a title. I will guarantee the Milwaukee Bucks will not win a title.
Okay, just so...
Because their stars are always going to lead. They're going to draft these good players, and then they're going to go away.
Okay, so I get what you're saying, and just so the world doesn't think we're picking on the Milwaukee Bucks...
We're not just... I like the Milwaukee Bucks, I do, but there's a lot of other teams
It's just
that we're going to...
Don't eat. It's just...
Trust me, I don't have anything against the Milwaukee Bucks.
You hate deer.
I hate the outdoors.
No,
And deers are always outdoors.
Okay, well, give me another team that you think is a team that will never, ever win a
Denver
championship.
Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are my team, but they will never win a title. They have never won a title. They've been to the Western Conference Finals a couple of times.
Did they win one in the ABA?
Nope, they did not win an ABA championship. So they have never won a title. The Denver Nuggets have never won. The closest they have ever got is the Western Conference Finals.
We should have beat the Lakers.
Should have beat the Lakers, but Kobe was possessed.
That was Kobe?
Well, the second time. The first time it was against Magic, but remember, Calvin Nat and Fat Lever both got hurt. If Calvin Nat and Fat Lever hadn't got hurt, we might have been in that championship. But they both got hurt, and they were, Fat Lever especially, really underrated point guard. Calvin Nat, when he was healthy, was a really good power forward.
I was thinking of the Rainbow Nuggets, and that would have been the time.
Yeah, that would have been during, yeah.
But
And actually, you know what? I liked those uniforms. It's
did
weird to think, but I liked those
I
uniforms.
did too. I thought they were cool.
So,
Still do.
so yeah, the Denver Nuggets, the Milwaukee Bucks, you don't really need them. Sacramento Kings.
Dumb.
Now, the Sacramento Kings really do support. I know that Sacramento supports that team. They really, really,
They
really,
used to
really,
be the
really.
Kansas City Kings when I was a kid.
Yeah,
The
but
Kings.
they support that team really well. They even built them a new arena, and they're never going to win a championship either. But
They're in California. They should.
they're in Sacramento. They're in Northern California. They don't. The
not far from-
population,
they're not
the
far
population of Sacramento is 400,000 or 500,000, something like that. No, it's only like 200 and some thousand.
They're not far from Frisco.
But they're not a big market team. But Sacramento, the fans do support it. But it's just one of those things where
My brother-in-law's in
they're never going to win a title. Now, if the fan base is fine with their team never winning a title, if you can look at the fan base and go, do you care if your team wins a title? Do you just want your team? And you continually support them and the numbers show it, then absolutely, keep them. But remember, the Seattle Supersonics left because they weren't being, during the losing times, they weren't being supported like they thought they should. I think they needed a new arena. They wouldn't build them a new arena. Seattle has not gotten a basketball team since. Oklahoma City has a basketball team, but will Oklahoma City still support their team once Russell Westbrook is gone?
Now, you know what? Here's the thing. That goes against what you're saying because Oklahoma is a place that I would not think is ever going to win a title.
And they won't. Because Russell Westbrook is probably not going to win a title because they keep losing players. And the players they did bring in, George and Carmelo Anthony. Of course, Carmelo Anthony's at the end of his career.
He's a
But now it's like Westbrook's getting this bad reputation about he doesn't play well with others. So now you're going to have people that don't want to go there. Russell Westbrook is an amazing player.
You know what's funny?
He is 2 straight seasons averaged a triple-double.
Do you know what's funny? This is how good LeBron is. LeBron could go to any of the teams you've mentioned.
Yeah.
And that team...
And turn him into a contender.
No,
instantly.
not a contender. They would go to the championship.
If you paired LeBron James with a Teta-Kempo, you might.
You just like to say a Teta...
I do like to say that name. It's a cool name.
Teta-Tempo.
Ford Tempo? Is that what you're trying to say?
Tootin' Uncommon. King Tut. That's what I'm going to call him.
But
King Tut.
If LeBron James came here and he played with Jokic, Harris, Murray,
we would go to the
we
championship.
would go to the championship.
I'm going to tell you this. If LeBron James went to any team...
I think LeBron James should be on loan every year.
That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
It's like cool. LeBron James should do a tour of the NBA.
I think Tom Brady should do the same thing. He should go to every NFL team.
I think Denver should get him next for 1 year.
For 1 year? Well,
with
no.
Bradley Chubb and Von Miller.
He's got to go to Cleveland or someplace that's really...
I do feel bad for the Cleveland Browns because I know they want that. That poor team has been just beset. And we already... Oh, and Bud Carson was the guy that coached against the Broncos. It was the Cleveland Browns, but it was not Schottenheimer that was coaching that team.
Really?
It was Bud Carson.
Okay, so I was half right.
You were half right. You were right that it was Cleveland, but it wasn't Schottenheimer. It was Bud Carson.
Now, back on thing, I would like to say, so I kind of get what you're saying. Like, oh, by the way, there are 2 teams in the NBA. I can already tell you I hate their names since we're talking that.
Oh.
The Nuggets, I think that's a stupid name.
That's a terrible name.
I would like to go with the Miners or the Mountaineers, and we should have that guy like Yukon Jack guy, the guy from Toy Story, the second one who was the miner dude. That should be our...
I like the old basketball that had but it was in the ABA. Remember the red, white, and blue, black, and it's like it even had a beard. The basketball had a beard.
That's fine. Cool. Let's do that. But I hate Nuggets. There's so many kind of Nuggets that just aren't good, and I think...
Well, we could have been the Denver Rockets if the Houston Rockets weren't in the league when we came in.
I'm cool with the... You know what? And I'll tell you another name that sucks, and I can't stand it. And it's New Orleans.
You could call them the Denver Hemp, because it's a pot thing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought it was pants.
Well, they make pants.
I know. That's why I was trying to be cute. How about the New Orleans Pelicans?
That's terrible.
Stupid.
Well, the Utah Jazz is a dumb name.
It's a dumb name because it should. You know what? New Orleans should have kept the Jazz.
Yeah.
If you're not, Utah. You could be the Pelicans.
Yeah, the Utah Pelicans.
I'll tell you what, New Orleans,
Utah.
You missed the boat. You were they Bobcats or something like that, Hornets, and they gave the names back. You could have been the Hurricanes. That's kind of cool.
Who?
New Orleans.
You can't call New Orleans the Hurricanes.
I know if they get them. Okay, how about the Katrinas?
You can't call the... Wow, you're just going to bring up a sore spot for everybody. Well, let's just name them the New Orleans natural disasters.
Oh, how about
New Orleans
levees?
the New Orleans
I'm just
scuba
saying,
divers.
The
New
Pelicans
Orleans
is a stupid name.
It is
I
a
would
dumb
go
name.
with the Voodoo, which was
That would have been a cool name.
It was the Black Magic. That's probably not good, but the underwater, the levees.
You could call them the Cajuns.
The New
Orleans
name.
Cajuns. I mean, there's already a college team called the Raging Cajuns, which is kind of cool.
Screw those college teams.
But yeah, I mean, there are some dumb names, but we're getting a little off. We're getting a little off topic again.
I've been up
but,
all night.
Okay,
I'm allowed.
So the only reason in the NFL, I don't think we have to retract any teams because the NFL, you look at the small markets, they still win titles.
Because of the way the NFL does
Because
stuff.
the way the NFL is structured. So I would never get rid of an NFL team because you can win from any place.
Salary cap, as much as I have talked to you about wanting to change certain things, the salary cap does make the NFL competitive.
Yeah.
And
others have salary caps as well, but they still don't seem to be working because if you can end up with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and you can end up with those four guys on the same team, I don't know if the salary cap's working.
in the NBA, they have certain things. I think they actually have something where if you draft the guy, and like I've always said...
Well, the Larry Bird rule is what it was called years ago.
The
I'm
NFL,
not sure.
The NFL needs the Larry Bird rule. However, but you're right. I mean, the NFL, you couldn't do it. Baseball, back on that. Oh, God, baseball.
162 games. We'll get away from retraction of teams. Let's get into retraction of schedule.
But the money's where they say it's at.
Well, and that's the thing. The money is the thing that they say is where all of this really is. But
Baseball
and they don't want to
never go to
But
October.
162 games, and I mean, so many of those games are meaningless.
And I said something stupid. I just said baseball shouldn't go to October. Baseball now doesn't go to...
It goes into November.
Yeah, and you know what? It's the boys...
Remember when it was called the October Classic?
Yeah. Boys of Summer. What would happen if you did... they play in the summer, and maybe we do something where September. They don't go later than October. Early October. Like October 1. But that's crap.
The season just takes too long. There's no reason to play 162 games. It used to be 144. To me, 144 is almost too long. Baseball, there's so many games that are just absolutely meaningless, but the records would get jacked up, so baseball purists would go nuts. But you don't need 162 games to decide who the best team is. You can decide who it is in 100 games.
You know what? I can tell you who the best team is generally before the season starts. And that's generally how it ends.
But the NBA, 82 games. You can tell by it's like you can tell by how many injuries some of these guys get playing basketball that it's too many games, and these guys are playing at a high level and and they're not even beating each other up like they used to.
No, and I mean I think I think of LeBron and all this stuff, and it's like obviously they make a lot of money and all stuff, but LeBron, I mean, how many extra seasons has he played? Just because of the
playoffs. I mean, in the playoffs,
playoffs.
Playoffs.
Did it?
The playoffs probably need to be shortened. You want to extend these people's careers, maybe shorten the seasons a little bit. I mean, these players can't make it always through a full season. This is the first season LeBron, they said, played all 82 games.
Wow.
And I think it's because he kind of made himself play all 82 games.
And see, I'm rooting for him to...
So am I. I've even picked Cleveland. I think Cleveland's going to win this title. I do.
So.
I think Cleveland's going to win. I got a gut feeling that says Cleveland's going to win.
If they win, will he stay in Cleveland again, or is he going to go? And I think he deserves to. He came back to Cleveland.
He can go anywhere he wants.
Where do you think he should go?
Philadelphia. Go play with Embiid and Simmons.
What? You call yourself a Nuggets fan?
Well, I would love to see him in Denver. Believe me, but he won't play in Denver. If you want to talk about...
But people love Denver.
But not for some reason sports athletes don't want to play here.
Wrong. Peyton Manning came here.
Elway convinced him, but that's the NFL. That's the Broncos. The Broncos have a phenomenal history. They've been a winning franchise for decades. So it's easier to convince somebody to come to when Peyton Manning's talking to John Elway, he's talking to a guy that won 2 Super Bowls in a row. He'd been to 5, and the winning culture that this team had, it's one of the winningest teams over the last 30 years.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a winning culture, and that's what he was coming to.
So who else do you think should be taken away?
Well, if I'm looking at NBA teams, I just think that you get rid of some of the smaller market teams so that those players can be free to go into the bigger markets. I get it. There are people that support these teams.
Screw them.
But a lot of these teams don't matter. The Sacramento Kings don't matter once it gets to the playoffs.
How many teams don't matter?
The Denver Nuggets don't matter.
Don't matter.
They just don't. The Milwaukee Bucks, I'm sorry, you don't matter in the grand scheme of things.
New Orleans Pelicans?
Anthony Davis is really good. New Orleans could probably... New Orleans. Don't say New Orleans. They hate that in New Orleans. Don't say it.
Say it again.
But you can draw people to New Orleans because it's kind of a fun place to be.
If you're...
Well, if you're like... For 1 week. It's real fun.
It's a great place to be.
It is. There's a lot of great food. There's a lot of great culture down there. So Denver, to me, we live here, of course, so we know that it's they got the mountains, and that's where they go, oh, look, mountains. Other states have mountains, too.
You hate the outdoors.
Oh, I do. That's why I can't use it as a selling point for me. I mean,
Denver is a great place and has a lot. Actually, it
Denver
sucks.
has
You people all stay away. It sucks. You'd hate it.
Denver's
Stay
terrible.
away.
Stay away from Denver. Stay. Don't come here. Other people will legalize pot. You can go there.
Yeah.
Go where others do it. Denver's terrible. Don't come to terrible.
New Orleans.
And we're going to lose the Nuggets, according to me. Yeah. I'm telling you, we're getting rid of the Nuggets.
Or change the name.
So it's like if you love basketball.
I have an interesting thing here for you. I was thinking about...
You can get rid of the Rockies, too. They're never going to win a title.
That's hurtful.
They're never going to win a title.
We got to the World Series, though.
Huh?
We got there.
We have been there, but we're not going to win one. It's like because the pitching staff is never good enough, and you have to have pitching in the World Series. And they will never have a pitch. I did a show on the Rockies. I like the Rockies. That's my hometown team. I root for them, but I'm trying to be honest with the teams that need to go away so that we don't have to, so that a lot of these great players can be put together on other teams. Now, I get it. You'll never get retraction. They'll never take away teams.
No.
Because the players' associations and the unions would go nuts. Because that means you're cutting jobs. You take away one NBA team, you cut 15 jobs. That's 15 players that could be paying dues to the union, and that's money that they're losing.
How many teams are there in the NBA?
31 or 29.
You know what? You're right though about that. There are.
But there are teams that won't win titles that don't really matter. Yeah. And what's the goal? They always say every year it's to win the championship. And if you can't win a championship, what are you there for?
I got an idea.
What? What's your idea?
Well, this show's about done. I think our next show, which might follow this show, or I might just wear the same shirt again next week, should be the teams we think that'll never win a title.
We could do that show. The
I
teams
think we're going to do that next.
We'll have to do a little bit of research so that we can.
I already know the Milwaukee Bucks aren't. I already know the Nuggets aren't.
We already know the
Rockies aren't.
The Rockies.
The Cubs probably will never win another title.
That's they've won one though. They won one recently. They're good. They're fine.
In the last 139 whatever.
They won a title. They are living life high. They're fine.
Yeah, they're not going to win another one for 100 years.
No, Madden's a good coach.
Who?
Madden. Their coach is named Madden.
When John Madden start coaching baseball?
I don't think his name is John, but
I know it's John Madden.
No. That's a coach. Yeah, you're thinking of a different Madden. I wish I could remember Madden's the Madden that coaches the Cubs. I can't remember his first name. Right now, Michael Wilbon would be so pissed at me because he's a huge Cubs fan. But I can't remember his first name.
I hope Michael Wilbon watches this.
I'm sure Michael Wilbon.
I can't say.
Tetekempo.
God, that's amazing.
And then there's somebody out there going, "You're still pronouncing it wrong."
How do you do that one? Fuku-do-me.
What?
Fuku-do-me, the Cub guy, the cool jersey. I always wanted that jersey. It's like F-U-K. He's a baseball player.
Well, Fukuyama?
Fuku-do-me.
That's not how he pronounces his name.
That's why I wanted the shirt. And I cleaned that up. What? How do you pronounce it?
Fukuyama.
That's not Fukuyama.
That's the only name I can think of that you're trying to think of.
Fukd.
Fukudome. You're thinking of Fukudome.
Fukudome.
Yeah, okay, now I know. Yeah, No, it's Fukudome.
I bet.
I'm sitting there going, now I know what that's why he wants the shirt.
Buffer. Yeah, that's why I want the shirt.
Fukudome.
Yeah, that's a cool shirt.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't get it.
Should have.
But so there we go. I think the baseball season's too long. NBA season's too long. NHL season, we didn't get into it because I don't think anybody pays attention to the NHL. But we also think that the Golden Knights would be cool if they won because they're an expansion team.
I do. And if they don't...
This is such a rambling... I don't even know how I'm going to title this. I really don't. I don't know how I'm going to title this because we've talked about so much... We've talked and rambled about so much stuff. I'm just going to put miscellaneous topics and team retraction.
I like the team retraction, and I like...
I like just using the word retraction. It's a very official sounding term, retraction. It's like the Nuggets will never win a title. Maybe I'll call that. That'll be the next one.
I know what you should call the show.
What?
Clumps.
Clumps.
You're a clump.
It's like LeBron and the Clumps.
And the Clumps. The Clumpets. Wasn't that a good TV show, The Clumpets?
The
Clampets.
Yeah, Clampets. You know that. You were there. You were probably in the backwoods of Tennessee or whatever when you shot that. You go, it's like, well, that's some funny looking water you got there, Jed.
First of all, you're rambling, not me. And so
we're gonna end this video.
Okay, so this is out now. Randy's gonna say something before you push the little button.
That's
I
right.
would like to say something after you say something.
Okay.
And it won't be stupid.
Okay, well, I'm going to let him do it then. So, to all the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.
And I would like to wish everybody out there a happy Mother's Day.
I would as well.